Looks pretty, doesn't she? Too bad I gotta take it right back off again. So, I made a video yesterday of the install on the driver's side after doing the passenger side first. And I videoed the entire install. But I don't think I'm gonna upload it because I don't think it would be worth watching, to be honest. The only place I could set up my camera on my little ghetto tripod was back here on my welding table. So it was about like this view, and it was over an hour it took getting it installed. I had a phone call during the middle of the video, so it broke it into another part, and then I ended up making a third part after I ran into the issue that I'll show you in a sec on the passenger side. So this side got installed completely. The downside is the centering of this caliper is not quite perfect, which I don't know if you can tell from the camera. You can kind of judge off the edge of the rotor with these little guide plates until it's off just a bit, because the silver overhangs the rotor on this side and doesn't on this side. Which is the problem, because this outboard has a lot of resistance, and you can see there's a little bit of a space on that one. And if I try to rotate this bitch, it actually spins all right. It's not that bad. So this side might actually be doable, because the pad does fit. It's not perfect centered, but it fits. Now, on to the other side. So originally I started kind of panicking after I saw some reviews on these axles today at work. So these were pre-assembled, and when I say pre-assembled, they had the bearings and the keepers and the seals already pressed onto the axles. The 31 spline, they come with 3 different bolt options: 4.5, 4 3/4, and 5 inch. Obviously 5 lug. So anyways, so my fear was, first I ran into the issue of there's no freaking access hole in these, which I think I might have mentioned in the previous video, but there's no way to really make one unless you have a mill, in my opinion. And even then it'd be sketch, because you'd have to drill it in between these 2 holes, like back here. And to me, it seems like it would weaken the axle flange too much. So the other thing I ran into was I went to put the pads in this side. The inside fit no problem, plenty of space. The outboard side, however, not enough gap. Pad wouldn't even go in. So I started thinking options. One, I could pull the ghetto jerry rig fashion and throw that pad on my belt sander and trim that bitch down until it fit. Not quite the right way to fix it, but it'd make it fit. 2, and by the way, the install tells you to start with a single shim in it to get it centered. I took the shim out and got it as far this way as it would go, and it still wouldn't. That was when I tried to put the pad in, was with no shim. So there's no way to adjust it more this way. So then I started thinking, well, the only thing that's gonna push it this way and be off is if that bearing's not pressed on right, if my axle offset is wrong. So I was like, all right, well, that's gotta be it, you know? So I went back and looked at the reviews, and of course somebody said if you are running a Wilwood kit with the internal drum, like I am with that drum there, that you might want to think about another axle, because it's a pain in the ass to get the nuts on the retainer. And it is. You have to pull the keepers out of the pads. That's where the spring's down there. So this can separate off of that, and you can reach a wrench down in between there. So if you're ever doing a Wilwood with an internal drum, get an axle that has an access hole. It'd be so much easier. I spent probably a good hour, or close to an hour per side, fighting those springs, getting them on and back off, or off and back on again. And I'm gonna have to do it repeatedly. Every time I've got to do any kind of work to this thing and pull the axles, I'm gonna have to do that. So new axles are probably in my near future, and these will be back up somewhere. So the issue I ran into when the other review I read was somebody saying that the offset was wrong. that they weren't 2.5 inch, they were like an 1/8 inch past that. So I threw my tape measure on it, which is not going to be real easy to do since I don't have a free hand, but it measures out to 2.5. I can't hold my straight edge on it and the camera, but you get the idea. It's pretty much on. So I was like, all right, yeah, we'll check it a little more effectively. So I grabbed these. And we run it down. $425 thou over. Now, doesn't seem like a lot, but whenever you're getting down to shims that are, you know, 1/10 a piece, that's 4 shims right there. It's a lot. So I called Wilwood, and I had a feeling they'd give me an answer. Well, that was pretty much where I didn't want. I mean, one option, I could go and try to press this bearing inward. I don't know if you can actually move these bearings once they've been pressed in place. I'm pretty sure the way they do is they set up a stop on the press so it won't go past. And I want to say once they, like you, normally I think you, they'll freeze the bearings and then press them, because once they set in place, they're pretty much kind of locked in. They got to break loose, and when they snap loose, they move. I'm not going to be able to get, you know, 4/10 out of this thing, or 400 thou out of this movement. It's going to jump a good 1/8 of an inch probably. So I'm probably not going to go that route. I'm probably going to leave these axles just where they're at. And the other option he gave me was, actually he gave me 2 other options. One, this is the mounting bracket right here. Let's see if I can do this without dropping all the shit. So it's, so it's this spacer and then this caliper mount, and the shim normally goes here on each of these bolts, and then you put this on. Well, I measured the spacer and he looked it up too, and it comes out the exact same measurement. So I know I don't have the wrong spacer, but I think it's like 482 thousandths is what it comes out to. He said they don't actually have a spacer for 4 thousandths over, but what he does have is 2 spacers that I could use, or a spacer that's essentially 22 thousandths over, or 220 thousandths over, whatever. And I could run 2 of those to get me my 440 thousandths. The other option would be machining that down. I don't have a mill. My machining would be throwing that bitch on a belt sander, which is not quite the most precise way of doing things. Though that would probably take off too much material. I could probably lay sandpaper down on a flat surface and just kind of ease back and forth and try to take it down. And I might do that, because I mean, right now these are scrap anyways. The worst case, I gotta order new pieces. So that's probably what I'm gonna do in a second, is throw that on some sandpaper and see if I can get it milled down to the size I need. And maybe I'll do another video once I get done with that and get both of these sides done. But that's where I'm at, because he did say those spacers that are 220 thou are $13 a piece. Now I don't know what they are. That's probably their price. I don't know what they are in the retail world. They're probably half that, but that's still, you know, 30-something I'd spend if they're half that with shipping and everything, and then I'd have to wait on them. I'm ready to get this thing on the ground. I was hoping to be able to finish this last night. I was out here till 10 o'clock last night, 4 hours or so fucking with these damn things, and I was hoping to be able to get my torque arm mounted today to get the stress off of this, but that didn't happen. So now I'm messing with brakes again. Anyways, that's where it's at. That's what I'm dealing with. And if somebody really wants the hour long of me looking at my back essentially, and then hearing the air compressor kick on a couple times when I had to wire wheel some bolts, let me know. I'll throw the video up. But to me it was a waste of time. I mean, you can't really see anything, and it's more or less just me hitting my head on this fender well and putting shit on, forgetting, having to take it back off because I forgot something, etc. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll have this thing back on today, at least on this side. Later.